It's another Fourth Art Saturday video hop organized by Meri Atelier. Please follow the description box below for the links to the other crafters and artists. Hello survivors, hi family and friends, this is Roy from Bootsie Sweettarts Guide to Life and Other Disappointing Experiences with another Fourth Art Saturday video hop. It's a fun month. The theme is scraps. Well, as you see, I have big scraps of fabric. I have little scraps of fabric. I have fabric and more fabric and more fabric. And there's no piece too small. For this hop, scraps, I'm going to use some very tiny scraps and try something that I haven't done before. I'm going to try a small art quilt that we could use as a cover for a book, a compo book, just display it. We'll see, this is my first time, so you're going to be with me seeing all of the thinking and the mistakes. Oh, only the creator is perfect. Please stay with me. Thank you. This is a fun challenge. Living on Long Island on the Northeast, you can imagine how beautiful autumn is. The leaves are all changing colors. Just a beautiful, beautiful art scene no matter where you look. So I thought as a fabric lover that I would try to represent autumn, and especially the autumn leaves, in some sort of fabric collage or project. I got inspiration from going online, seeing some photos that projects people have made using fabric or textiles of some kind. And since this is a use it up, destash kind of theme, I decided to go through my stash and find some autumn colors and see what kind of a project I can come up with. I found this interesting outline of a tree. It was solid black, and I was able to reduce it down to just the outline of the tree, and I thought this would make a good foundation for the art project I was thinking of. Then I had to find fabrics that I would like to go with this, and I came across in my stash this beautiful piece of brown fabric and decided that that would be the basic trunk and branches of the tree. And I wanted to use a scan and cut, so I had to take some fusible, this happens to be heat and bond, but it could have been a regular piece of interfacing, but I like the heat and bond. So I fused that to the back of this brown fabric and then ran that through the scan and cut and came up with this shape. So much easier if you use the scan and cut and the fussy cut. And I left the adhesive protector back on the back. Now comes the background. Well, I have been saving this piece of remnant for such a long time, years and years, for just the right project. And Meri Atelier, this was the time. Thank you. Look at this fabric. It's upholstery weight. Absolutely beautiful print on it. Love it, love it, love it. So my plan is, oops, if I can pick this up. My plan is to have this as the setting. Oh my goodness, look at how pretty that is. And then to decorate with little tiny scraps of fabric to make it look like autumn leaves. I went through my stash of fabrics. I have so many fabric remnants, small pieces. I love buying remnants, and then I have them all left over from things that I've made. And I separated all the fall colors that I could find quickly, and no piece was too small. And I had bigger pieces, and I found some little strips. Now the purpose is to make leaves of different colors. So I took the pinking shears, since I'm not sure what kind of edging there's going to be on these, and I just pinked out small pieces of fabric, then collected them in a little box here. Then I took some of them and made, I guess you could call them clusters. They're little tiny tidbits. Glued them together, just simply took one of the bigger pieces, didn't even have to be one of the bigger pieces, on my Silpat, which won't stick to, and just layered with glue other little pieces of fabric, complementary colors, just like in nature. The leaves are starting to change here. They're absolutely beautiful already. It's a little late for us because we've had some good weather, so it's delayed them a little. So I made a lot of little clusters, if you want to call them that, to act as leaves, and kind of like groups of leaves. And I left most of them are still individual little pieces, and these will come in handy for other projects, so have no fear. Well, that's a cluster. Have no fear, for I will find other uses for it. I don't know, but anyway, you get the idea what I did. And I use the Silpat because it won't stick to it. Now, if you don't have Silpat or anything that's not stick resistant, remember I put the fusible on the back of the tree fabric, and I had leftover backing. I saved the backing piece. See how shiny it is? So I can build my clusters on top of the release paper. I don't know whether you can see that. This is glued on the back, and this is the clear Elmer's glue, and it makes a beautiful release. It's so easy. So again, if you don't have Silpat, just save some of the backing somewhere, the release paper. Then what I did in some cases where these were so large, I cut them again into smaller pieces, sometimes ending up with an even smaller tidbit. So that goes back in the tidbit drawer, and I'm just cutting the cluster up a little more so I have smaller bits. I want some big bits and some little bits. And here is my raw material here. This is what I'm going to use to create my collage. Well, the first thing I have to do is, of course, prepare the fabric. I hate cutting this, but if you love something, you've got to set it free. So it's time to say goodbye to a piece of this beautiful fabric. I have a lot of remnants, and it's time to start parting with them. So I'm cutting out a square that's about 13 by 13 and positioning the tree. I added that little bottom to it to make it look a little less unfinished and more like a real kind of tree. I like it there. I would have thought maybe off-center, but the way this tree is, it looks like it needs to be in the middle. Then I decided to, before I started gluing anything, is just see how the little pieces are going to fit. They're all pinked edges, so they're leaf-like sharp points and angles on them. So once I was satisfied with the premiere, with the audition, that I'm going to like it, I just grabbed the applicator of glue. That's the Elmer's clear glue. That's not school glue. It's clear. It dries clear. It does dry very, very quickly compared to some of the other clear glues. At least that's what I found. I was thinking about how some people may think this is a bit tedious and boring, but it's like a Zen thing for me. I don't know whether others have felt that just doing things like this takes you away from some of the things that you might be concerned about. It just brings you to a nice place. This took a long time because I was moving things around and adjusting sizes. One of the trees I was looking at out in our yard, I noticed that the leaves accumulate at the bottom near the trunk. So I made the trunk fairly thick of fallen leaves. Some last minute touches. Getting very pleased with this. Every art piece looks better in a frame. So I grabbed a frame that was too small, but it's what I had, and I framed it. I thought it looked really finished. Not sure how I'm going to use this. There were little pieces of fiber here and there, and I took some low tack tape and cleaned it up. And in the end, I decided I would Mod Podge, seal the collage. If I were sewing this, like doing some free motion sewing on it, I'd put a piece of netting, some kind of organza, white or clear if I could get it, on top to make sure that all the pieces stay where they are supposed to. But 2 coats of Mod Podge will do the same thing. The fabric handled it very, very well. I was happy with the way the fabric felt. It looks like it's very durable and I think utilitarian, so you could use this panel for almost anything you want. Here is the reveal, the final project. I like it. This was my first time with doing like a confetti. They call this kind of confetti quilting or confetti collage. And what I'm planning now to do is probably make a real panel out of it, backing it, placing some batting in between, and maybe doing a little bit of stitching here and there to add to the interest and the texture. All in all, this was a fun project. But like any project, it's important for me, something trying it new, to make a list of things that I learned from this or things that I would do differently. First, wash the fabric. I don't usually launder cottons prior to working with them, but this had a little bit of a sizing or some kind of coating on the fabric, and it resisted some of the glues. It did not resist the Elmer's. Then my next venture into something like this is going to be using a piece of heat and bond as a place to sprinkle the confetti on, and make another piece of, that'll become a piece of fabric. That's going to be a fun project for me. I'll have to keep you aware of that, because then you cut up the pieces and you can iron them down because they'll have heat and bond on the back. That's the other thing, public speaking. I apologize for the I actually took a class in college in speaking without putting in likes and and anyway and whatevers. All of those rules, of course, I break. So, and adding stitching would be nice. I think it'll make things pop and give it even more movement. And lastly, when you're planning to make a panel or a piece of art like this, and you're not good at framing, choose the frame first. When I looked at my collection of frames from thrift stores and old pictures that we've had that we're not using anymore, I couldn't find one that matched what I wanted, the size that I needed, that this was. So I started this before I found a frame. So now I am out looking for a frame. So in any case, Meridel, thank you for giving me the opportunity to try something brand new. This was great fun for me. And I'm going to do another piece and another piece and another piece. And then decide what kind of project or art they will become. Certainly some of them are going to become panels on handbags or totes. And some are going to be standalone art pieces. Great fun again. Thank you. And to all of you who stuck through to the end, thank you. I appreciate your support. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. Share with people who you might think enjoys this kind of crafting. And as always, until next time, be safe, be smart, be well, and bye for now.